On today's JMO with Josh and Joe, we have college football week 0, baby.
Let's go.
Week 0 college football is here. We roll through some of the we do some of the games, huh?
We touch up on them.
We touch up on most of the games. I think we mention all 7 games.
Yes.
Well, we tell what the over-under was, I think. Yeah.
Something like that.
All right, so we go through that. We have a little bit of college football news. Then we get to OTDISH on this date in sports history. Then after that, we move on to NFL Preseason Week 3.
We're almost there.
Nobody cares about Week 3.
No.
We'll tell you why. Then we have a couple of NFL news that we get to. Talk some U.S. Open. Little tennis action. First round of the U.S. Open going on. Actually, some decent matches.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about our new favorite players. Then we got, to finish off the show, the Swamp Kings documentary. We do a little recap and tell you how we feel about it, which, let's put it this way. Tim Tebow got me mad again.
It sent you right back.
It sent me right back to 2006. I was not happy with it. So,
all right, let's rock and roll.
Welcome to JMO, Josh and Joe. It is Tuesday, August 29th, and Joe, college football is finally here.
Just give it to me.
I can breathe now. There's meaningful college football on my TV. I get something to talk about besides preseason baseball and preseason football, baseball, tennis, golf, whatever the fuck was on TV this whole entire summer. We have football back.
It just means more.
It does. It's so nice. We have college football week 0. I do love the week 0. It's the pregame before the actual season starts. It's just a nice little pick-me-up, if you will, before you get going with the race. It's like, when you were playing sports in high school or college or whatever, and you needed to do that little warm-up to get you ready for the game.
Yes.
That's what week 0 is.
It's a warm-up.
It is. It's a warm-up week. It's nice.
Well, you can't blow out your vocal cords, all in week 1. So obviously they get you that warm up phase, that week 0, kind of get you acclimated back into college football, and that way you're ready to go on week 1.
Exactly. You got to get loose. You got to get warm, or else you're going to pull something.
They understand their fan base is, a growing fan base, getting a little bit older, and we just have to get warmed up now.
Yeah, they're thinking about the fans. This is the nicest thing the NCAA's ever done. Ever. That's it. It's giving us week 0. But yeah, we had a cool, nice little 7-game slate. It wasn't anything too eye-opening. I say we just jump right into it. Notre Dame versus Navy was, it was in Ireland.
Yes,
I'll say that. It was in Dublin. The grass was green. It didn't rain.
The NCAA put forth their best option for Ireland. Considering the mascot.
Right, yeah, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, it seemed a little bit appropriate. Not much of a game, though.
No.
Probably could have sent a little better opponent than Navy. Everybody in South Bend, Indiana is like, oh, we're going to the promised land. Pump your brakes a little bit, kid.
Oh, the hype train for Notre Dame has got some momentum. Got some extreme momentum.
It was huge. And here's the thing. You should have beat Navy by... 39 points? You should have beat them 42 to 3. That's what you should have done. The Navy is basically, if you watched them, it was almost like the offense was playing against the scout team defense.
Yeah,
like that's how it looked. It was just they were just bigger, better, faster, stronger, everything. I will say this: Navy did pass the ball 7 times.
They passed it 7 times.
They passed it 7 times.
Wow, okay.
So I don't know if they're slowly trying to get away from the triple option. I still don't understand that. Like, they know, like, you're going to run the ball. I've just never understood it. I respect it. I like, somebody who's that hard-headed, at a certain point, it gets to the point where I can't be pissed off, and I just respect it.
Yeah. Well, when it's the triple option now, I mean, it's awesome when it's working. Like, it's just like a well-oiled machine when it's working. But that usually happens like once every 50 years now.
Right.
So, like, it's definitely outdated, but it does look cool whenever everything's flowing and you got the defense all on its heels. They don't know where the ball is, misconception, but it's just a little outdated at this point.
Yeah.
I think athletes are a little bit better than they were back in the day.
Yes, on both sides of the ball, too, so it's tough. Notre Dame needed this to win like that because even though he was hired in 2021, Marcus Freeman needs it. I think he's coaching for his job this year. It was a very underwhelming season last year for Notre Dame, and that's just how quickly college football moves these days.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
I think you can, yes, it does. It happens that fucking fast.
Yeah, well, because they moved on from Brian Kelly, and to see a significant drop, like, obviously fan bases are going to think, like, oh, we should be the same team. We should be at least, especially if you do, like, an in-house hire like that, they're going to be like, everything should be the same. We should still be winning, go into the playoffs, yada, yada, yada.
And, I mean, if you think about it like that, yes, if he's in-house, you should have the same system. You should have the same players, pretty much the same staff. Like, you would expect somebody to pick up right where Brian Kelly left off, or Freeman to pick up right where Brian Kelly left off. That's just not it. It just was not the case last year.
And you can't have bad losses. You can't have bad losses when you're a first-time coach. When you start having bad losses, then you're like, then the fans are just going to think, worst-case scenario, everything's downhill from here. Like, the sky is falling, yada, yada, yada.
We're just passionate fans, though.
We're passionate fans.
That's just the way it is. Sam Hartman, I will say this. Sam Hartman didn't look bad. He had 19 to 23, 251 yards, 4 tutties, 0 interceptions. I didn't watch the entire game. I know they kind of, like, they didn't really push down the gas on him, like, as far as attempts and using him. But he didn't look bad. He didn't look terrible. Again, granted, this is against the JV team, so you don't really know. You don't know exactly how good Notre Dame is going to be, but at the same time, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just it was the first game. All eyes were on it. It just sucks it was a blowout.
Yeah.
But they did what they were supposed to do. A little SEC talk. Vandy got the W. That's nice. It's a nice little start for Clark Lee. He needs it. I personally think he can probably go he could probably go 500 this year and it'd be fine just because that's how Vandy is.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a Vandy alumni, recent. I think he graduated in 2008. He looks like a defensive coordinator.
He does.
That man looks like he should be coaching the linebackers. And
he's got
maybe headbutting them, too.
He's got that Robert Salah type of look.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like, not all bald men look alike. These Robert Salah and Clark Lee, they are muscular linebacker-looking bald men. Those are the Brian Urlachers of the world.
Yep.
Whereas Brian Daboll is a little different-looking fat guy.
Yeah, he's got a little bit. He's more of an Andy Reid type of, more body shape.
Yeah. See, there's just different. And then if you got a skinny bald dude, he looks like what was that?
James Franklin.
Yeah, James Franklin. What's that little cartoon? Oh my gosh, that little cartoon white boy. Kylo.
Oh, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh man, I can't think of his name. Fuck. Anyways, that's what you would look like. The skinny bald, not good, not a good look. If you're gonna be bald, you gotta be buff or fat.
Yeah.
And Clark Lee, he is a buff guy.
He's a buff bald.
Yeah, buff bald, love it. USC dominated, which it's San Jose State. The fact that San Jose State scored 28 is just appalling, honestly. Is USC just not going to play defense this year?
Lincoln Riley doesn't know that you're supposed to play defense.
I don't think he's ever played defense.
I'm sure his practices consist of 80% of the time they're going over offensive plays, and then the rest of the 20% is whenever he gets reminded that they actually have to work on their defensive formations.
Right.
So that's probably, I would see that being the type of split that they have at practice every time.
I agree. Yes, and honestly, he probably just works on the DBs on defense just because they catch the ball ball sometimes.
Yes.
So that Lincoln Riley, no idea. Caleb Williams looks nice. I mean, we knew going into this game, we knew going into the season, he's got the number one odds for top odds for repeat as Heisman. Lincoln Riley loves to sling the ball. It's fun. It's fun when you let your quarterback just air it out like that. And he did have a really good play. What was it? He fumbled the ball, I think, and then got it back, and then chucked it downfield.
Oh yeah, just chucked it.
Yeah, they called it the Caleb Williams black magic. I want to wait till he goes up against a real defense. It's gonna be nice when USC goes to the Big Ten. I'm looking forward to that because that's what I want. I want to see them play good teams, week in, week out.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them just play cupcake Pac-12 teams.
I will say he still has to play Utah, which seems to be his nemesis.
Yes.
Or at least Lincoln Riley's.
I was about to say, I think USC's usually been pretty good against Utah, but
Lincoln Riley's 0-2 against Utah.
Lincoln Riley doesn't like Utah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, but yeah, the future Arizona Cardinal, he played well. So he had a pretty good game. I mean, he's going to be good, like you said. It's just they're going to be spreading the ball in that Lincoln Riley offense. Zachariah Branch is a name that he put himself on.
Real
on
quick
the map.
before you go there, what Joe meant by the Arizona Cardinals thing is he's predicting the Arizona Cardinals to be so bad this year that they're going to get first pick and they're going to use that first pick to select Caleb Williams.
Well, they're not favored in any of their games.
None, not a single fucking game.
And if you look at their lineup right now for the for quarterbacks, it doesn't look pretty. But we'll get to that a little bit later.
Anyways, the name everybody should watch.
Yes. So, but the name that everybody should watch right now, Zachariah Branch, put his name on the map for college football. True freshman.
Nasty.
He's fast.
He's real fast.
He's really fast.
He's nice. He's nice.
And I will say, because San Jose State, let's be real, they kind of kept up with them, which I think any good offensive team is going to keep up with USC.
Well, I wasn't able to watch the game because I had prior obligation, but apparently not very many people were able to watch the game anyways.
Yeah.
They had to stream it on their phone or something?
Yeah.
Unless you had what was it, Apple TV or what was that contract?
I think it was Apple TV. It was just something.
Unless you had Apple TV, you could not watch this game.
Yeah.
Or you had to give your computer a virus.
So it's like these new streaming devices that are trying to get bid into these live action sports, which is, basically going to be like the biggest thing now, or live action anything, because now that you can stream TV shows, whenever you want.
Yeah, it's all. I really do think it's all going to end up back like cable. Like it's just you're gonna. I don't know.
Everybody's going to get bundles.
Everybody's going to bundle. Yeah, it's just going to bundle because people are going to be sick of just paying for 5 different subscriptions. So,
yep.
Max, Hulu, Netflix, Disney. There's so many things, and then you're not going to be able to share your password soon. Fuck that.
Yeah, but back to the game. Yeah, so basically USC so Zachariah Branch actually had that sick return for a touchdown. But if you notice the score, no one really talks about it. It was 35-21 late in the third quarter. And so they were kicking it off. So San Jose State just scored.
Yeah, if the final score is a little off, I'd say. Now, granted, the good teams usually come through in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, they pull away.
You'll start to see where the talent separates them, and it's in the third and fourth quarter. Now, granted, I do like what you pointed out there. That was late in the third quarter, so they kind of held up with them after the halftime adjustments.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, again, because I didn't watch the game, this guy for San Jose State, running back Quali Conley. This man had 6 rushes for 108 yards and no touchdowns, which means he had 18 yards to carry, but none of them were for a 72-yard breakaway touchdown run. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, what happened there? Or was it garbage time minutes that he got that? But that's 6 rushes for 108 yards.
Yeah, no, that was actually mostly first half stats.
That was first half stats.
Yeah.
See, What happened there?
Well,
Did they start reeling and say, hey, we're behind, so we got to throw the ball more?
I mean, yeah, probably so. I would have to say, but at the same time, like they're more of a pass first, run second type of team. So they set up they pass the ball to set up the run.
Yeah, I get it, but man, 6 rushes, 108 yards, 18 yards a rush. He's got to be doing something. He's got to be good. He's got to be good.
You almost think that they should have probably gave him more because that defensive line wasn't there. It didn't show up.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's something I wanted to point out about this game. It was just the only like stat that really stuck out to me as kind of odd.
Yeah.
Let's see. Louisiana Tech got a W. They're going to be fun.
They'll be fun.
They're going to be so much fun, bro. They are letting that quarterback sling the ball. He threw the ball 44 times.
Yep.
44 times. That's for a small school. Fucking love it. I don't know. I'm looking for it. We're Louisiana boys, so we do we do homey things. But they got W. I think that's about all I have on the games. Do you have anything else on the games?
No, that's about it. I was gonna just mention.
I got a couple other college football things. But.
It was nice to see good close games. I mean, like you said, the La Tech, FIU, 22-17. San Diego State, Ohio was a close one, 20-13. Jacksonville State University. That
was a 3-point game, huh?
That was the versus UTEP 17-14. They got their first win as a Division I school.
FBS baby, welcome to the big boys club.
So yeah, it was nice to see. Like that's basically what you want to see with these week 0 because they're never really big headliners. There's a couple big headliner or blue chip teams as we saw with Notre Dame and USC. But there's never big headliners in this. So basically, what you really want to see is you just want to see close games. And that's what we got.
Good games, yeah. And the overhit. But unfortunately, of the 7 games, the over only hit 3 times. So it was close to 50-50. But yeah, it's a college football game. Not in the SEC. I want to see the overhit.
Okay.
So other college football related news. Deion Sanders might be the most football guy of all football guys.
Oh, he's a football guy.
He literally got his toes amputated, so he didn't have to miss any football.
Yeah, when he was coaching at Jacksonville State.
Yeah,
or Jackson State.
Yeah, like that. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. I think he's like a hard-nosed type of coach.
Definitely.
I think he when players went to play for him, that's why he had a lot of people leave. At Colorado, because I think he came in and was just like, no nonsense. You're gonna kind of like how Urban Meyer ran things in 06, which we'll get to on the Swamp Kings doc.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I think he's old school.
Oh, he definitely is.
And nobody expected that out of him.
But that's like he's one of those coaches like that. He just earns respect from just like examples like that, where it's like my coach is like cutting his toes just to be here.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm gonna go die for that guy.
Right. Yeah. So like I think he would have been out for the season or something like with rehab. I think that's what
maybe with like surgery,
like with the surgery and the rehab. I think he would have been out for the season or a couple of games. It might have been, but yeah, big football guy there. Last thing I have is a young man by the name of Carson Beck. Do you know who that is?
Carson Beck, yes.
Do you know who that is?
Who is that? He is succeeding the Stetson Bennett of Georgia.
You are wrong.
Oh.
You are wrong. Carson Beck is the ultimate titty guy.
Oh,
Carson Beck, certified tit guy.
Ah, what?
He
Georgia quarterback being a frat guy?
Yeah, a tit guy.
A tit
guy. Yeah, this is a good one. It's a Snapchat that got screenshotted. He said, responding to this chick, apparently, not trying to be weird, but especially when your tits are out, gets my shit hard immediately. Okay, this is great information.
Okay.
This is great information. Every team now needs to have the universities need to pay for girls with ginormous cans to sit front row
Front row.
Front row, right behind the Georgia bench. Anytime they play.
Or maybe like behind the end zone, where
Behind
like
the end
how
zone.
wherever his
Corner of the end zone.
vision is at.
You know what? We need to strategically place girls with giant cans.
Yes.
Just all around the stadium. And when he goes to do anything, just show it a little nip or a little cleavage. You don't even have to show the nip. Just show the cleavage. And boom, Carson Beck distracted.
See, the problem is like what you need to do is most of the time defensive coordinators have to watch film in order to get your weaknesses. You can't give your kryptonite like that out.
He put it on display.
Just put it on display. That's a rookie move right
rookie
there.
move. Yes, yeah. I don't know how old he is, but rookie move there, bud. So there you go. You got the blueprint for how to beat Carson Beck in Georgia because you're gonna need it because Georgia's fucking good.
Yeah.
Anything else in college football?
Kyle McCord gets to start over Devin Brown at Ohio State. They finally made the announcement, which doesn't really bode well when you're wanting a quarterback starter. But
do you really think the quarterback race was that tight, though?
I think from the sound of it, Devin Brown's the better quarterback because Ryan Day came out and said Kyle McCord deserves it. And, like, I don't know if that's, like, a seniority type of thing. Like, just because he's been at the program longer, he wants to give it to him. I don't know. Coaches have to strategize a little bit nowadays because, especially with NIL and people transferring all the time, if you want two good quarterbacks, typically, like, the best way to do it is have the battle run all the way until the beginning of the season. And that way you have two quarterbacks for the whole season.
I kind of like this strategy, though. It's a strategy I say that teams need to implement every time they get a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Let the older guy, who's probably not as talented, let him start. And if he does well, great. And if he doesn't, let him fuck up and let the young guy come in so that the bar is set low. Like, I know Ohio State always has a high bar, but when you got a guy who just loses a couple of games, and then you got a younger guy that comes in, there's a new energy, there's a new focus, you got like new hope basically. And then if the new guy doesn't do well, it doesn't look as bad. Yep. But if he does very well, it looks even better, which makes his confidence go up. So I kind of applaud Ryan Day for this move. I think it's the right move.
Okay.
I like it. Let's see. You want to get to OTDISH? Let's get to OTDISH.
All right.
On this date in sports history. You start.
Okay. Alrighty. In 1925, after a night on the town, Babe Ruth shows up late for batting practice, and Miller Huggins, the Yankee manager, suspends him and slaps a $5,000 fine on him.
Which $5,000 back then is like $50,000 nowadays.
Well, when I first was looking at it, I thought to myself, I was like, oh, $5,000, whoop-de-doo, pro athlete. But then I thought about it, and I was like, hey, this was back in 1925. So, of course, I got my ChatGPT out and was able to account for inflation. That would be the equivalent of over a $78,000 fine.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Just for showing up, hammered.
Well, it is kind of cool to see that Babe Ruth was pretty much one of us.
He's one of us.
Yeah, he just liked to go out and get fucking hammered.
Yeah.
Like, it's norm. That's like, I don't know. I always had those like older guys raised to this like really high standard of like professionalism and shit. No, they like to go get fucking trashed.
He was the Johnny Football of that time.
He was the Johnny Football of the MLB baseball in the 1920s.
I mean, he had the name Babe Ruth.
Yeah, the Babe.
The Babe.
The Great Bambino. Like,
yes.
Come on, dude. You know this guy's getting fucking trashed. He was probably, yeah, exactly. He was probably clubbing it up. And if he was around in 2020 or 2010, he probably would have been partying like Johnny Football.
He would have had his social media would have just been lit.
Oh, Liddy City, bro.
Yeah,
Liddy City. But yeah, they're just like us. It's great.
Yeah.
They love the party. In 1889,
whoa,
yeah, 1889.
Back in the Civil War.
No, that's
1864.
64, yeah. In 1889, this is because we have the U.S. Open for tennis. The first American international professional lawn tennis contest was played in Newport, Rhode Island.
Ooh.
First international lawn tennis. Okay.
Rhode Island.
It's not a
Is
real.
that the last time they had a sporting event there?
I didn't even know it was big enough to have a sporting event there.
It covers the entire state.
Yeah. You can get from one side of the state to the other in 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah, that's how small Rhode Island is. But anyways,
With traffic?
I don't know about it.
Okay.
I don't know what traffic they have in Rhode Island. I don't know. I don't even know if people live in Rhode
They
Island.
might not be able to fit. Enough people might not be able to fit.
I don't think people live in Rhode Island. But anyways, my biggest thing is like when did people think that playing tennis on grass was a good idea?
I don't know who thought of that first.
It doesn't make any sense. Like I know U.S. Open's played on whatever the stuff's called, but lawn tennis, I just don't get it. I don't understand how the ball bounces.
Is that something that they advanced to artificial turf, at a certain point?
That would be cool.
I mean, it would cause a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I was about to say everybody would shatter their ankles.
Yes.
I don't know.
But they wouldn't be playing with cleats, though.
Well,
Typically, they don't play with cleats on.
Right. True. I don't know. Maybe they would have like indoor soccer shoes.
They probably would be bleeding up, up and down their arms if they slide.
That is true.
It'd get messy.
It'd
It'd be like a 300 movie.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, so that was talking a little tennis. What's your next one?
All right. In 1974, San Francisco Giant Jim Barr retires the first 20 batters that he faces, and then that adds to the last 21 he retired 6 days earlier for a record of 41 in a row. Pretty crazy.
That's wild. 41 in a row?
Yep.
Jesus. When was the last time you did anything 41 times in a row?
I jacked off 41 days in a row.
Okay. Never mind. I stand corrected. I'm gonna go to my next one. That is really impressive, though.
Yeah, it's an impressive feat.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of commitment.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever jacked off 41
It's like
times
it's a
in row.
grind.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Did you? What was your porn selection? Did you have the same porn? Did you use different sites? Did you?
You had to mix it up a little bit. You could go to your go-tos, but at a certain point, you just had to put some bizarre stuff.
A little gay porn in there too.
It got close. It got close.
I don't know, man. Some of those videos, they get like the double penetration. They
get close.
It's questionable, It's
get
a little
close.
questionable. I'm just like, I don't know if I like this or not.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, let's stop talking about porn. In 1892, Pop Shriver of the Cubs caught a ball that was dropped from the top of the Washington Monument. This has nothing to do with anything, but the fact that in 1892 they thought it was a good idea to drop a ball off the top of the Washington Monument and thought that was cool.
That was a significant moment in history.
Right, yeah. And the best part of this whole thing is the name Pop Shriver.
Yeah. Obviously, this is big time name game.
Big name. It's a nickname. His name is Billy, but Pop Shriver.
Well, we're all about nicknames.
All about nicknames. We need to bring back nicknames. # bring back nicknames. But yeah, off the top of the Washington Monument. Now, it was 1892, so I don't know how they got up there.
Not a clue.
Pulleys, baby.
Maybe climbed.
Aliens.
Aliens probably were it.
Aliens. Yep. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Let's get to the NFL. Let's breeze through the NFL. It's preseason week 3. Nobody really fucking cares.
Except when vintage Jimmy Graham comes back.
Vintage fucking Jimmy Graham. That was the greatest part about this entire weekend.
Yeah.
Was just seeing Jimmy Graham back in his natural element, man. I'm so pissed he didn't dunk the fucking ball.
I know.
He went up and he faked us out.
He gave us a tease. He gave us a big time tease.
Like, come on, Jimmy. We'll start a GoFundMe just so that you can do it every time. Like,
oh yeah.
It's gonna be a couple of $1,000s. I'm sure we can find some people in New Orleans to donate.
Maybe even a individual that can cover the entire fine.
Dude, we'll figure it out, man. Just dunk, dude. Dunk it, bro. I don't care.
I really did have to check my calendar to make sure we were in the year of 2023 and not 2013.
Dude, you're right. I don't give a fuck what happened the rest of that day.
Yeah.
Especially because I saw Jimmy. He had that over the middle throw where he like twisted his body around, made an amazing catch, and then he had a vintage Jimmy Graham red zone catch.
Just throw it up
for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It really took me. It really threw me back. Like I thought I was watching, Drew Brees, Jimmy Graham highlights.
I'm glad Jameis Winston watched his Saints, highlights back in the day.
Yes.
Because he knew exactly what to do. He got to the goal line and he just threw it up.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And I hope we utilize Jimmy Graham like that this year because it didn't really look like he missed a step.
Yeah.
It really didn't. It was beautiful. Like I said, I don't really care what else happened, but I guess we got to kind of talk about it. Aaron Rodgers made his start. Who cares? He did. It wasn't the greatest showing, but did you really expect? Were people really expecting him to play a couple of series and throw these bombs and actually like show what they were planning on doing with him? Did they really think that they were going to do that?
Well, you know what? Like Robert Saleh, or Salah said, he had to get him used to MetLife Stadium, which he's acting like MetLife Stadium's a rocking stadium, and it's not. But
I think it's the turf because remember how he used to pick up and play with the grass. In at Lambeau Field.
Yep, and then Les Miles used to eat the grass.
Yeah, Les Miles ate the grass
at Tiger Stadium.
Right. Some people just are really obsessed with grass.
They're a grass guy.
Yeah, I think they're trying to like get in tune with the earth.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is that an ayahuasca thing?
I don't now. I think Les Miles was on some drugs, but I don't know what kind of drugs. I don't know if it was ayahuasca or not.
Yeah, he probably was on the hard shit.
I'd crack.
Yeah.
He was smoking PCP. Again, like I said, 5 of 8, 47 yards and a touchdown. What else do you expect? He wasn't going to put up 300 fucking yards. He wasn't going to do his Hail Mary passes. He wasn't going to be athletic and run around the field. Nobody expected that.
Yeah.
Or I guess people did expect that, but people shouldn't have expected it.
Yeah. Nah, nothing much to see. It's just, it is what it is. It's not going to make me more excited or less excited that I have Garrett Wilson on my team.
Right.
My fantasy team.
Garrett Wilson's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
Another receiver that's going to be nice and a team that I think might surprise everybody is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett looks really good.
He looks good.
George Pickens is like Megatron in the sense that like you throw it anywhere remotely around him, he's going to catch it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if the fucking defender's draped all over him. He will make the catch.
Yeah.
He might not be as good or as big as Calvin Johnson, but in the sense of just snagging the ball within a 10-foot radius around him they're kind of the similar.
Yeah.
10-foot radius is a little bit much, but you get my point.
Yeah. They've been exploding in the preseason. And typically, you don't usually put too much stock into it, but on this one, I'm not going to fool myself. This is real. I can tell when something's authentic and chemistry is developing, and it looks really good.
It's just the only problem I have, man, and it's been this way since college, is the Kenny Pickett 2 gloves, man. It looks so weird. I can't get over it, man. I just it makes me cringe watching him throw it 2 gloves. I just don't understand it.
It's just like every time he releases the ball, it looks like it's going to release in an odd fashion because obviously it's coming from a hand with a glove.
Right. I think it's going to stick and he's going to throw it straight into the ground.
Yeah.
Or peg his lineman in the ass.
Something like that. I mean, you see how the ball pretty much sticks to the wide receiver's hands.
All right. You know what? I really don't think that... I think the Cleveland Browns are going to finish last in the AFC North. I don't think the Steelers are going to finish last. And I don't think they're going to... Now, I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens or the Bengals, but I don't... Look for the Steelers maybe surprise a couple of teams in some games.
Yeah.
They might catch, the Ravens or the Bengals slipping up in Heinz Field.
Yeah. No, Mike Tomlin's going to have them sparring. He's going to have them sparring.
For sure. Oh, yeah. That's right. That was a good quote.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said,
You can't box if you're not sparring, or something like that. You can't spar if you're not boxing.
Yeah, you can't box if you're not sparring.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like starting his starters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess not. I mean, where's the lie?
Where's the lie?
Where's the lie? The only other thing I had left for preseason is Ravens lost again. Maybe they're gonna go on a nice little losing streak.
So now it's time to bet.
Bet on them losing.
Yeah, but as soon as I bet on them losing, they're gonna win again.
Well, you got till next year. So
yeah. So I'll let you know whenever I do bet on them again.
So you can fade
in the preseason, and that way everybody can fade them.
Just fade.
Public service announcement.
Yep.
Just a little bit of NFL news. Jonathan Taylor, no deal. No fucking shit. We told you.
He just slapped it down.
No
deal.
Yeah. Well, no, that was Jim Irsay. Because there were teams that were interested in him. They just weren't going to give the Colts what Jim Irsay wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
And he told you he wasn't going to trade him. Jim Irsay said it. He said, "I'm not trading Jonathan Taylor." So why would people think that he was actually going to find something?
No, he never had any intention on it.
No, there was no chance.
It's why he said it was, he needed a first rounder.
Yeah,
he's petty.
Exactly. He was doing his quote unquote due diligence, if you will.
Yeah.
You know how like when people are hiring when a team goes to hire a head coach, yeah, you pretty much have who you want in mind, but you have to interview other coaches.
You have to interview the minorities.
Right. Oh, I didn't say that. But you do have to be diverse in who you hire or who you interview. So yes, that's pretty much what that was. That means he is going to be out for the first 4 games. They're keeping him on the PUP list, which means he's going to be out for the first 4 games. I think that drops his fantasy value a significant amount.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got to think about like Alvin Kamara, how much his fantasy value went down just because he's suspended
For 3 games.
Yeah.
Now this guy, it's
not even a definite he's coming back after 4 weeks.
Well, I don't think he's injured. I think he's been sulking because he wants to be gone from the Colts. I don't think he wants to be there. So just basically, this is him pouting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think
he's definitely dropping out from the first round.
Oh, most definitely.
Like he might not even be in my book. I wouldn't take him in the second round. Like it's incredible because he was like projected, especially like in half point and standard leagues. He was projected in mid first round.
Oh yeah,
this is a huge drop. Another thing that you pointed out earlier, I didn't realize this either until I saw it on the internet. The Indianapolis Colts don't have a single person over 30 years old on their 53-man roster.
Definitely young.
Yes.
Definitely young.
That is wild to me, which also I think that it means the Colts are going to suck.
I will say this. Sometimes new coaches like that. Because if they're installing a new culture and a new like locker room presence and a new philosophy, typically it's easier to do that, conform people like whenever they're younger players.
Yep. Agreed.
Also, like Matt Rule did that at Carolina.
He tried it.
He tried to do it. Let's put it that way.
He's a college coach, and we'll talk about it during the Swamp Kings doc. There are some people that are just college coaches.
Yeah.
Don't ever go to the NFL.
Yeah. Just your style and stuff, like how you approach the game. Way different games.
Yep.
But, yeah. So like, which makes a lot of sense. So like, if he's trying to install something new and he wants a little bit of youth and something, especially if you have time, like your first year head coach, and as long as you show progress and you're just not, basically not Nathaniel Hackett.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, you basically have time to develop. So get the younger guys, develop them. That way you ain't got to worry about them leaving, at least for retirement or something like that. I don't know. I think it's a good strategy.
I think they're going to suck this year, but yeah, I think as far as what you're thinking, yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah.
Von Miller out 4 weeks. It's gonna.
I think he's old.
I think he's old too. He's.
I mean, he is old. I can't think that he actually.
He actually is old. I think it's going to be a little bit of a blow to the Bills' defense. Not having him out there. I don't know because they got a decent first couple of weeks. I know they have the Jets in there somewhere. Which is going to be tough. So, yeah, that's
Yeah, that was the only other thing I had for the NFL. Well, okay.
I did see one thing. Guess how many 300-yard games Johnny Football has?
How many?
One. Guess how many 300-yard football games Justin Fields has?
1.
0.
Ooh.
Yeah. Justin Fields doesn't have a single 300-yard game.
So you're telling me Johnny Football greater than Justin Fields?
I'm just saying what the stats are saying.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't fucking lie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dude, I love how this picture was circling around the internet.
It was the guys that were drafted after Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
We have Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell. I don't know who that is. Pat Surtain the second.
Oh, J.C. Horn?
J.C. Horn.
That's Joe Horn's son.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Devonta Smith, Justin Fields, Michael Parsons, Rashawn Slater, Mac Jones. All those were drafted after Trey Lance. Those are
Jeez.
all fucking studs.
They're all studs.
All studs. You know what? I'll like everybody loves John Lynch and nobody's giving him shit for it. I'm gonna give him shit. That was a bad move, John Lynch. That was a fucking bad move that you got absolutely your ass saved by Brock Purdy. That was it. If Brock Purdy didn't work out, you would be on the hot seat, if not fired. You would be sweating worse than we are down here in South Louisiana.
Do you remember that at that time, leading up into the draft, Mac Jones was getting a lot of chatter about being that pick?
Yeah.
I mean, not saying it would have been much better, but
that was a whole Nick Saban. Mac Jones was a product of Nick Saban, and I don't think anybody should draft an Alabama quarterback. I don't think the Jalen Hurts is, I guess, kind of half Oklahoma, half Alabama.
he kind of can be more considered Lincoln Riley.
I don't. Again, look what Tua's done. Nothing. I mean, Tua's a decent quarterback. I don't trust Alabama quarterbacks. That's what I'm getting at. Alabama quarterbacks, they just haven't shown anything for me, and it's been that way since the mid 2000s.
They didn't have to go through a whole lot. You know, when you have NFL superstars surrounding your team at all moments, you didn't have to actually go through some adversity.
Right. You could just hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, and he could just truck stick everybody.
Yes.
You had Mark Ingram, you had Trent Richardson, you had just all of these fucking guys.
Yeah.
You can just hand the ball off to or throw the ball to.
Or you could just do a screen to Jalen Waddle, and he just takes it upfield.
He goes off. Amari Cooper.
Jameson Williams.
It does. All these fucking just studs. Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's all I got for the NFL. You got anything else?
Pat's got an interesting strategy. They have cut both of their backup quarterbacks. And only has Mac Jones on the roster.
Bill Belichick's going to use a kicker.
Yeah, he's going to do something.
No, he's going to use a little white wide receiver.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, he's going to have a Julian Edelman or a Wes Welker on the team.
Yeah.
He'll just use him.
I tell you what, the dark horse prediction, though, that everybody's coming up with, Tom Brady coming back one more year.
Yeah, I heard that. Dude, I don't care.
Who cares?
I don't care. I'm over it. If he actually decides to come back, I will pay attention. I will absolutely pay attention. It's Tom fucking Brady. I don't care right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's see real quickly. U.S. Open's going on. I just hope that it's Alcaraz and Djokovic again. That Wimbledon match was epic.
Yeah.
Epic. It was awesome.
Give us a rematch.
Yes, I've been watching a little bit of it actually. The first round's been pretty good. It's been okay. It's been a hit or miss. Some of them have gone just 3 sets, and I'm talking about the men's side. I haven't watched any of the women's. Some of them have gone to like a 3-set sweep. Some of them have gone to 5 sets.
But that's kind of typical what you see on the first round.
On the first round, I do have a new guy that I'm kind of interested in. His name is Corentin Moutet. Corentin Moutet. This guy is a short little French man, but holy shit, he has got a temper. Oh. And it's funny. He is known, I didn't know this, but he is known for breaking rackets.
Is he short?
He's very short. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I said short little French guy.
That's like that.
Oh, he's got that short man complex.
I was about to say that checks all the boxes.
Oh yeah, and it's fun. It's like remember when I used to like watching Kyrgios before he had a mental breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah. this guy is kind of my new favorite. I something about like emotional tennis players.
Mentally unstable.
Yes. I like to call them emotional, but yeah, mentally unstable tennis players. I love watching them.
Yeah.
I love it, you know? That's why I like watching people like Jordan Spieth, you know? He talks while he plays golf. Like most of the time people are golfers have been professional, you know, they keep it even keel. I liked when Tiger got fucking excited. I love whenever Jordan Spieth talks to his balls. You know what I'm saying? Like I need that. I need that in those slower sports, you know, the ones that drag on for hours and hours, you know. It keeps me focused on it.
You want to be entertained.
Yes. And honestly, man, these guys, I was watching Stan Wawrinka earlier. He demolished this Japanese guy. He serves it so fucking fast, dude. These are going 120 to 130 miles an hour, man.
Yeah.
Like, it is wild how fast these guys have to react.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
I mean, because it's honestly almost kind of same concept as baseball in a sense, as far as having the reaction time. I mean, they're going about the same amount of miles per hour. And in tennis, you actually have to move.
Yeah. Well, in baseball, you have a stick.
Yeah.
So
So it balances itself out, but
it's impressive both ways.
Exactly.
Regardless. But yeah, just if you got a tennis ball coming at you 120 miles an hour and you're supposed to react to it, it's just. I like, even if I swung as hard as I could, like baseball swing, I don't think I could hit the ball 120 miles an hour. Like, not even close.
yeah.
But anyways, that's the U.S. Open. That's our tennis talk. We'll have a little more tennis talk coming. But let's get to the Swamp Kings documentary. I was pumped about this one because I was like 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. I was in high school when when Florida was doing these things. They definitely left a scar because I was they pummeled LSU. Now granted they didn't in 05 and 07, but 06 and 08 not great.
These were the days if you were an SEC or if your team was in the SEC that you were a fan of, but it was not Florida, you hated Tim Tebow.
Oh, you couldn't stand nobody. Nobody liked Tim Tebow unless you were a Gator.
Yes.
But anyway, so this Swamp Kings documentary, it is basically, I guess it's the Untold series from Netflix. It is talking about the 2006 and 2008 Florida Gator teams. It's a four episode documentary. We are going to summarize and give our takes on the first two episodes, then we'll do the next two episodes next week. But anyways, let's go. Episode 1. Dude, Tim Tebow looks like a baby. Yeah, I know like this is obviously he was you know, a young kid coming out of high school, but it's just wild how he looks like a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always like seeing those players go back and except for Brandon Spikes. Brandon Spikes looks exactly the same age.
He was a grown man in college.
He was a grown-ass man in college.
Yeah.
I forgot that. I remember hearing about this, but I forgot that, like, in the beginning when Urban first got there, he made them dress in the visitors' locker room. Like, they weren't allowed to wear Florida Gator gear.
Yep.
Because they had to earn it.
Yep.
It was wild. He came in like a military guy, pretty much. This guy, like, some of the things that he was making him do,
Yeah.
was just it was wild.
My first initial thing that I saw was the mat drills. The mat drills were intense. Like, basically they turned into wrestlers.
Dude, they you know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
Remember that scene in Django Unchained where they were in the Leonardo DiCaprio's house and he's in their living room and he's making them fight to the death?
Yeah.
That's what I thought of.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. They're just like, they're literally wrestling UFC style until one of them passes out, which I think one of them did.
There was one on camera that did.
That passed out.
I can't imagine that was the only scenario.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So they passed out or tapped out, which is fucking intense. That's wild. It was brutal.
He was breeding some, like, gladiators out there. He was breeding some, like, some dogs.
Dogs. Now, it also made me understand why he didn't work very well in the NFL.
Yes.
Like, just watching both of these episodes, because I've only seen the first two. The more and more I watch him, the more and more I'm like, that was the dumbest hire the Jags have ever hired. Like, obviously, it's hindsight's 2020, but if you had done your homework and actually, which is what a professional multi-billion-dollar football team is supposed to do, you would have known right off the bat he wasn't going to be a good head coach in the NFL.
Yeah,
he was like a Nick Saban. Nick Saban was great, obviously probably the greatest college football coach of all time. Not good in Miami. Was not good in the NFL.
Yeah, I just can't imagine like him, going up to the Jacksonville Jaguars and is like, all right, hey, we're gonna do these mat drills, and then Trevor Lawrence being like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you can fuck off.
Yeah,
and then he kicks him.
Yeah, but like Tim Tebow, he's jumping in head first.
Fuck yeah, dude. Look, going back, and now that everything's cooled off, because I had a deep hatred for him for a good 10 years after he graduated Florida.
Of course.
Like, I had a deep hatred. Like, going back now, that is the ultimate locker room guy. Like, that is the guy you want, like, by your side, like, pushing you and shit. But I did see this, man. They were recounting the 2005 season. Do you remember this guy by the name of Tyrone Prothro?
Oh, yeah.
That was the ultimate what would have been receiver, because that man was the best college receiver, one of the best college receivers I think I've ever seen in my life.
He was good.
He was the Alabama wideout in 2005. I think he's when he got hurt against Auburn, I believe. I can't remember what.
No, I thought he got hurt against Florida.
It might have been Florida, and it might not have been 2005. It might have been 2006 when he got hurt. But this guy, like, I think I still have the picture somewhere. His ankle was just basically hanging by skin.
Yeah.
It was like it had torn everything in his ankle. It was just basically hanging by skin. That was it. But Lord Jesus, this guy could play some fucking football.
Yeah. Well, he had the signature behind the helmet catch.
Yep, against Southern Miss. I remember that. It's still, I think, the most impressive catch I've ever seen. In a college football game, at least. Mm-hmm. I'd say maybe OBJ in the NFL. But
you also had Larry Fitzgerald. He had behind the other player.
Oh, behind the other player catch. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Yep.
There's some ones out there. There's some highlight reels. But
very, very great ones.
I do love how, like, Netflix is super fucking dramatic with, like, Tim Tebow reading the Bible, while out by the pool and the water's running, their sun's setting, like,
with the headline, they needed a hero.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, golly.
Come on, dude.
Dude, I didn't realize what was it? The loss against it was the loss against South Carolina. They were on the way back, and they were still in the plane, and Urban Meyer was heated because they lost, and he heard heard a couple people laughing on the plane in the back. Mm-hmm. You remember this?
Yep. And
they made him stay in the plane on the runway for a full hour, and then proceeded to kick two guys off the team and there. They just left the plane and went home. Yep. That was it. Because they were laughing after the loss. That man hates losing.
Oh, yeah.
Hated losing.
That was the big thing I noticed, that what they stated. And it made sense. He hated, what was it, Dan Mullen said, he hated losing more than he liked winning.
More than he wanted to win, yes. Yeah. Which, I don't know how much I like that statement, but it worked for him. I mean, three national championships.
Yes.
You can't, and one booty hole.
Yes.
If you count that, that's never going to...
he didn't want to lose that booty hole.
No, he did not. Yeah, I guess the last thing I had for episode 1 was SEC fans are wild. We are fucking wild. Urban Meyer got booed in the restaurant after the South Carolina. Like, he walked into a restaurant and got booed after the South Carolina loss.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild, man. This is a first-year head coach, and you're getting booed.
Just because you're not Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. He was trying to... They wanted a Steve Spurrier.
That was that, but that's that one game like that you can't lose.
No. And we'll talk about it here in a second. But he did end up beating South Carolina that next year. The episode 2 was tough. Do you have anything else for episode 1?
Brendan Seiler's parents were pretty funny.
Yeah,
how they showed up hammered.
They were just fucking alcoholics. That was it. And Yeah, that is pretty funny. And he hugs Siler, and he's like, "It's gonna be okay. I've never met any parents as crazy as yours."
He was a great addition to the show. I've genuinely enjoyed having him as a commentator for the docuseries.
Yeah. So far, at least, yeah. Because I don't think he was on the 08 team.
Yeah,
I think he went pro after this year.
I wonder if they go over 07 and 08. Too.
I guess see. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I hope they go over 07 because that was our year, baby.
Yep.
You know what wasn't our year, and I had to relive this. The jump pass. It was tough. It was tough watching it again. It kind of renewed my hatred and fire against Tim Tebow.
Yep.
It was tough. I'll never forget it. It was a close game. Like that was to go up, and I think that was where my hatred for Tim Tebow really began.
Yeah. Well, that and then whenever he did like the call me signal.
Yeah, but we kind of blew his shit up, and he had to get a new phone and new number. And
yeah,
shit.
that he realized real quick how vicious the SEC fans can be.
Yeah.
Can really be.
Yeah. Man, fuck Tim Tebow. Fuck Tim Tebow. I'm back on. Fuck
back.
Tim Tebow. That
Back on it.
motherfucker. We got to find his number and call him again. Get every LSU fan to call him. Fuck that motherfucker. Whew. All right. Anyways, well, like we alluded to earlier, this was a note I had in episode 2. Brandon Spikes looks like a grown-ass man when he put that hat on. Like, I'm talking gold teeth and everything. That dude looked like in that guy in the movie Benchwarmers. Mm-hmm. He just handed the umpire his ID, and it was basically a piece of paper with crayons saying "I am 12."
I am 12. Yeah.
And a picture of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's essentially what Brandon Spikes was. That is he's.
And
Or Brandon Spikes. Yeah,
I think Siler kind of looks like a fucking grown ass man too.
Yeah, he was a big man. He was a grown man too.
Yep.
I get it, but Brandon Spikes, I mean, from like you said, from his high school announcement.
Yeah.
I mean, like Tim Tebow had that baby face whenever he was making his good, high school announcement. Like, but Brandon Spikes
looked like he could be Tim Tebow's daddy.
He looks like he was actually making his selection in the NFL draft at that point.
Right. Or maybe like changing teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Those crazy Siler punched a teammate because he put his legs down during an ab workout.
Yeah.
He just went over. He said, if you put your legs down again, I'm gonna punch you in the face."
And he did it.
The guy put his legs down and he punched him in the face.
I don't think he even got suspended off of that.
No,
either.
I don't think so. I don't. Like, I feel like we would have heard something like that if that would have happened.
Urban Meyer liked that jungle culture.
Oh, yeah. He kept it. I think he did a good job of keeping it hush-hush because I don't think we really saw very much of it. All the fucking gladiator shit that was going on, we didn't hear very much about it.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense.
I will say they did not go into a lot of details of a lot of shit that went on in Florida. I mean, we can get
so far.
Yeah, we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, we got there was so we're on the internet, like 99% of the people out there. So we did see a couple of spoilers, but we still haven't watched episode 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. So we'll get to episode 3 and 4 when we watch it. But
okay.
I forgot that South Carolina was a last-second field goal away from beating Florida in 06. That would have put them out of contention. And I think that would have put South Carolina in contention.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot those Steve Spurrier teams that he had in South Carolina were good.
They would.
Well, let's put it this way. He made the most out of what he had.
Yeah. Well, he was consistent. I think he had the most amount of 9-10 win seasons in a row at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. He was good. He's just a good ball coach.
Yep.
The fucking SEC championship game in 06.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how good Arkansas was with that dual running back with Darren McFadden and Felix Jones.
Yep.
Unreal. They invented the Wildcat.
Yeah, that was back when they invented the Wildcat. Houston Nutt was the head coach.
Yeah, they literally invented the Wildcat.
Yeah, because he had possibly the two best backs in the nation on his team, and just his idea was I can't have just one of these guys on the field at one time. I need both of them on the field.
They were that good.
Yeah, and they invented the Wildcat.
Yep. And then Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams tried to imitate it, right? Or was that? They were about at the same time, actually. Or was Cadillac before? Cadillac was before.
Cadillac was before.
That's true. They were back in 03.
03,
Yep, 02, 03.
Yeah.
04. Yep. That's right, because Ronnie Brown got drafted. They both got drafted in 2004.
Yep.
You're right. But yeah, wild. The national championship game, that Ohio State team was stacked. Penton on defense, Ted Ginn Jr. on offense, like Troy Brown, or Troy, what was his name? Troy Smith?
Troy Smith,
Yeah,
the quarterback.
Troy Smith, Heisman winner that year. They had a good team.
Jim Trussell was the coach. Yeah, I forgot about all the buildup that was leading up into that game because honestly, I do remember they made it look like Ohio State was invincible.
Yeah. And it's
And-
also funny that they lost 2 national championship games in a row.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Spoiler, they lost in 2007 too to LSU.
yep.
What's up?
Dude, Ted Ginn Jr. was so fast, man. That kickoff return at the beginning of the game, it is pretty crazy that Florida ended up coming back and just annihilating them.
It was it wasn't even close.
It was 41-14. They pummeled Ohio State.
Yeah.
It was great. Love it. I can't stand
But
Ohio
from the
State.
start of it, I have to say we got to point out Urban Meyer's initial reaction and Brandon Seiler to calm him down.
Yeah,
That was a legit turning moment right there.
Yep.
Big time veteran move by
Yep.
Brandon Seiler. Like, hey, look, if we're not going to score more than 7 points, then we don't deserve to be here.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Because like Urban Meyer even said it at the beginning in the first episode. He was like, this guy's got to lead. He's the leader. He's got to be the leader. And
He's a very let's put it this way. I'm trying to think of jungle like environment. He spotted the alphas.
he the silverback gorilla that is the head of the tribe.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was him. Yeah, and it wasn't like he ended up being a good NFL player. He actually only played 6 years.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, but he wasn't anything spectacular.
No superstar status type
No.
of thing.
But man, some people are just meant for college.
Oh, yeah.
Just meant for college. So yeah, though, all in all, pretty much what I've gathered from the first 2 episodes, just basically go to the hood and recruit the biggest motherfucking guys you can find.
And do some mat drills.
And do mat drills. And maybe have one homeschooled Catholic or church boy.
Yeah, one.
You gotta have the church boy.
You gotta have the church boys at quarterback.
He's the glue guy.
Yeah.
He's the glue guy in the locker room. That's the guy that everybody's gonna latch on to.
Yeah, but he's not. You can't have the puny little guy, the puny little church guy. He's got to be full-fledged into it.
Yeah. Oh, this guy. Yeah, exactly. This guy's got to be I'm talking jacked through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, Jack, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, man. He's got to be. You can't, like you said, you can't have the skinny dude. You can't have the church boy be like the kicker.
Yeah,
It won't work.
it won't work.
No. Last thing I have is,
Honestly,
he Urban Meyer may have started the dual quarterback with Tim Tebow and Chris Leak. He could have used Tim Tebow a little bit more. I forgot. For some reason in my mind, I thought he used Tim Tebow way more during the 06 season. But he brought him in at the perfect times. He was that boost of energy that everybody rallied around, and I don't know. He used him perfectly.
Yeah,
Chris Leak was not good.
I will say this though, because typically when they have a talented quarterback that they bring in for special packages, coaches do it as a luxury item. I felt like that season. It was a necessity.
Yes.
For them. That was Tim Tebow had to be a part of that offense at some point.
Yeah. If Tim Tebow wasn't there, they wouldn't have won. They wouldn't have won half the games they won.
Or that national championship that year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because he turned again. He was a momentum shift. Every time he got in, the crowds were just going nuts.
Yeah.
Loved it. But
yeah,
And parties.
and parties apparently. Yeah. Brandon Seiler was not happy.
Not happy.
He
Big mad.
So apparently he brought Tim Tebow with him to a party after they won the national champion, or it might have been the SEC champion. Yeah, it was the SEC championship game, and he a girl came up to him. He's like, "Oh, you're that guy." And Brandon Seiler's like, "Yeah, I'm that guy." And she goes, "Yeah, you're the guy that came in with Tim Tebow." Demoralized Seiler.
Especially a true freshman.
Yeah.
A true freshman getting more clout.
It's a tough look. It was a tough look for Brandon Seiler.
Yeah. I could see exactly where Brandon Seiler's frustration stemmed from.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, you got anything else on the documentary?
No, I'm looking forward to episode 3 and 4.
Yep, I'm pretty pumped about it. So we'll recap episode 3 and 4, and if you got anything else, we'll wrap up the show.
I think we're good.
All right, love y'all.